Alrighty, y'all, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We are on part 3, and this will be the final part, unless there is some crazy extraneous circumstance that allows it to go to a part 4 of this green Craftsman. And you can identify it. I've got the hood off of it right now, but you can identify it by the fact that it's got them funny looking headlights. I don't know, what do y'all think of that? I think they look kind of cool, but you know, you can't really be scrubbing up against bushes and stuff with them. That's really the only negative. They can put like nice little handle and stuff on the hood here. A couple little perks. Little reflectors on the back, you know. You get any closer, you might be able to take it to the DMV and give it a motor vehicle, registered as a motor vehicle. No, just kidding about that. But we're going to button up a few things. We're going to do I've already fixed the brakes. That's what we ended off part 2 on. It's got the grooves in the deck, so I got to take the deck off and grind out the grooves so that the blading gauge works right. It was missing that spring, the deck spring. I have since put one on it. I ordered one from eBay. Ordered a pack of 2, actually. They're the rotary brand ones. There's the rotary part, if that makes any difference. For those, 15543, 10-15543. And we are going to, after I get all that situated on the deck, I'll put valve cover gaskets on it. The tires look like they're all holding air, which is great. Probably put a little sea foam in the tank. And I wanted to address the issue about the gears. However, I've got the thing adjusted as far back as it'll go. So that's as good as I can get on the shifter, unfortunately. I could potentially take the pliers, which I'm looking at now. You see, I don't know how well y'all can see up in there, but you see that this kind of is bent a little bit? Bent out or bent in a little bit. No, that wouldn't work though, because it's the actual shift rod itself. That whole mechanism might be bent back a little bit. So I wonder if I could take some pliers up there at the top, bend the lever back physically. I might try that actually. But first, what we'll do, because it'll be nothing to get this wheel back off. I've been about 2 or 3 times. I was just seeing how everything attached up there. I think somebody was jamming gears pretty hard in this, which, you know, it's nice to jam to music, but jamming gears is not going to get you very far on a lawn tractor, especially just a little residential one here. Let me get the deck off. I've done it many a times. I'll show you the mounting points on this deck. 1, 2, 3. There's one on the other side, so that's number 4. Number 5 is right here where the cable is. Number 6 is on the other end over there where a little bar is that you'll see. Those are your 6 mounting points on the cable driven deck. I think we're going to look at this deck belt too while we're at it. The deck belt looks a little worn. I think I've got a deck belt here that'll work, but just pulling it off the pulley in the front. And I'll take them 6 mounting points out. I'll get it out here in the open so that I can pull the deck off a little bit easier. And then I'll tell you what I do next after that. So we've got all our mounting points off, the ones that I mentioned. You just pull the deck lever all the way up, and then you pull the pin that keeps the spring for the cable onto the pulley here. You pull that. Now I'll set y'all down. We'll pull the deck out. See what we have. y'all. So this one's got the nice little roller on it. This is the first one that I've ever had that's had that little roller on the front of it. 12 gauge deck. As I told y'all in the other video, the blades, oh, that one's got a little chip on the back of it. But that's all right. The blades are very sharp. I'm not worried about that chip on that one. Very good shape otherwise. Deck's super clean underneath too. Look at it. Nice. Alright, so now to get the grooves out of it, what we've got to do is take off the this little mechanism right here. So in order to do that, what we have to do, we don't have to take this pulley off or anything like that. All we have to do is take, if I remember correctly, because this is the third one I've done, I'm just moving the belt out of the way here from the belt guides. Belt's got a little wear on it. Here and there. It does have a split in it right there though. I'll probably take this off and see if I can cross-reference it to another belt that I have here, just so I have a little bit of peace of mind, because that split is the concerning part for me right there. I really need to get this thing on down the road though. I don't want to cut corners. This bolt right here, it's the pivot point for the entire mechanism, and I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this spring again. Ooh, I want to spring my skin together. 9/16 deep well impact is going to get this off. When I get this off, the bolt's going to come through, and we'll be able to take this pulley off, and we should be able to take all of this entire mechanism off here. And as you can see, there's the grooves that are being worn into it right there from the blade breaks. You'll see the other one when I get it. You can see the other one right there. When I get it on the vise, I'll show you all the grooves and how we're going to grind these things out. Alright, so the bolt is off. As you can see, this bolt's got these little square locker type deals in there. So the best approach is when you take your impact to hold the bottom of the bolt so that it doesn't drop down and then just start perpetually spinning. So I did that. I'll put that hardware up there so we don't lose it. Now we can take that pulley off. Remember how it goes on. Went on just like that. There's a washer, like a little coupling in there. Now, this is the piece that we want. You see these grooves right here and right here. Those are the grooves. We're going to put this thing in the vise, and we are going to grind them out with an angle grinder. And so I'm going to put it on the vise. I'll grind them, and I'll show you that I'll flatten them out. Catch you in just a second. So as you can see, I got the grooves ground off here. You see the fresh metal on the respective sides there. So now we're going to put it back together. I'm going to put this new deck belt on it. Hopefully it's long enough. If not, I've got another one that's in much better shape. This is the one that I bought for another mower, and it was the right part number, and it still ended up being the wrong length. It's just a little frustrating when you do that. So, washer, mechanism. Spacer, washer, pulley. Remember, the pulley went about like that. The good thing is we can fudge this pulley a little bit to make this belt work if we need to. Not a lot, but so now basically I'll show y'all what I usually do here. So I am going to put this there we go. Thread that up through. Get this settled into the spot. There we go. Alright, there's the bolt settled in. There we go. Put the pulley on. Let me clean the dirt off of this real quick. Okay. The nut, I'll put it about right there. That should do it. And then I need the impact and the 9/16. When you impact it, hold the bottom of the bolt up so that it stays in the square grooves. And just easy with the impact. Alright, so that should do it. Your spacer's in there. Blade brake was stuck. See how much easier that moves now? It was getting caught in grooves earlier. So what I'm going to do, I'll PB blast the this area a little bit, and then this area right here where the brakes go. Go ahead and put this, thread this deck belt through. I'll thread the deck belt through like that. Like I said, hopefully I've got enough tension on it, or tension off of it for it to work. It's a little on the short side. If not, I'll put the other deck belt on it, but yeah, it's probably going to be too short, but we'll see. I'll do what I just said. PV blaster on my little joint areas here. Put this back on, put this deck back on, and see what we got. Alrighty, y'all, so I took the wheel off. I'm going to show you what I did. This shifter right here, let me do that. This shifter, this tab was bent in. So what it was causing was the lever to be cocked out a little bit. So what I did, all I did was take a pair of pliers, come in here, literally just pull it out like that. And now, look at this. Reverse, neutral, all 6 gears. Reverse. And reverse stays in its little slot. So now, what I can do, I don't know if I can tighten those up. What I can do is I can take some self-tapping screws up here at the top and screw down into the metal with these screws, so hopefully it won't go anywhere. But that's how I fix that. Easy fix right there. I was going to knock off $50 because of that, but I'm going to knock this bad boy up to about $450. I was going to sell it for $400 because of the shifter deal, but I'll put a couple of screws in there and knock it up to $450, and this is going to be a nice little lawnmower. So let me put the wheel back on, and I guess the only thing that's left for me to do is change the oil in it, and I'll put some gaskets, seal up the gaskets with some silicone there. Alright, so there's my fix. Couple screws drilled through the frame. I couldn't do it on the front here because there's really no frame to drill in. Well, this perfectly serves what I need it to serve there. All 6 gears, neutral, perfect, reverse, money. Alright, that's good. So a couple things I've noticed while I've been working on this little Craftsman. Pretty sure this seat's been replaced at some point. I don't think that this seat plate, mounting plate, and this seat marry very well together because of the way that the seat's designed. I think it's an older plate and a newer seat because I think there's supposed to be a bolt that goes through there. This spindle over here has also been replaced at some point. And so a couple of small things I've noticed, or at least I think are the case on this thing. So next order of business is I'm going to go ahead, it's really easy to do. I'm going to push it back, jack it up, take the 4 10mm bolts off, take this vacuum hose off as well, which I just did. Has a couple of grooves that fits down in there. Just remember to put that back in so that you get good fuel pressure. It's missing an engine cover bolt, so I'll pop another bolt up in there for the engine cover. I'll seal these gaskets up with some silicone. And then we'll be good for a test run, y'all. I'm looking forward to it. They're doing an oil change on it too. Oil's actually decently full. That should stop the oil leak the guy was talking about, because it looks like both valve covers are leaking pretty good. So I'll get the valve covers off, clean them up, put them back on with some gasket. I'm gonna let it sit overnight. I'm gonna have it the engine jacked up as well, or the tractor jacked up a little bit so that the oil runs to the back. And actually, to even help it out more, I might go ahead and change or drain the oil in it and just set a case on top. This is the Platinum. These are some of my, even though it's the Intech, these are some of my favorite type Briggs, the ones that have the turbo cool and whatnot on them, but the Platinum. Nice little lawnmowers. Nice little lawnmowers. So let me do the valve covers and drain the oil out, and I'll catch y'all after I do all that. Put the hood back on, we'll do a final test. Alright, so I've got the valve covers off. I sealed them. It's kind of the last of my sealant, so that's not my best job. As y'all see, I like to put a little residue on the end. I like to make sure that they're sealed up, because as you can see, I did a wash on this thing, but man, it's still caked. It has caked the motor back there pretty good, especially right there. So I don't know if there's another leak coming from the top up there or not. I don't think it's leaking to the point where I really need to concern myself with it, because the oil is good and full. Some of y'all might know a common area, because I thought the sump was on the bottom of these. It is. I don't know why it would be leaking up at the top, unless it's leaking over around the flywheel seal or something of the crank, and they ain't fixing that. So valve covers though are taken care of. I'm just letting it dry overnight, and so I'll address this tomorrow. I'll go ahead and put fresh oil in it. I'll go ahead and put the dipstick back, and test the lights, obviously, make everything look good. List this bad boy, get it going. I'm ready for not having another lawnmower here, so we'll catch back up and do it. Catch back up in the morning after all this dries, and continue on. Alright, so I finished buttoning it up. It's been about 12 or so hours since, it's been about 15 hours since that gasket sealer is put on the overhead valve gaskets, and so those should be good. I've put oil in it. I put a new oil filter in it. And I know there's always some debate about, you know, using car oil filters. I've used about 5 or 6 of these things over the past few months, and I've never had an issue with them. They're the SuperTech from Walmart, the ST3614 oil filter. They're $2 and something, as opposed to paying $10 or $11 for what ended up being a smaller oil filter from Briggs & Stratton, which I've got over here. We're going to give this little lawn tractor a final run. 02/27/08 was the last time an oil filter was put on that lawnmower, so it's 12 years. Whew. Oh, it's pretty clean. There you go. See if we got put a little seafoam in the tank too. Seat's also in great condition. And one last thing, I know some folks will be proud of me. I touched up the deck a little bit with that 99-cent paint from where it scraped off the side a little bit. 12 gauge deck, all that good stuff. We're gonna test everything here, and then hopefully we'll put it up for sale. All right, pull the choke. Thing does not like being cold, I know that. I think it's got one of them dicky carburetors on it too, so. Smoking a little bit. That's just residual oil. Valve covers look good. You can hear it smoothed out too. It's not too bad. I put a little seafoam in it. I'm going to let it run for about 15-20 minutes. Hopefully that'll solve any running issues it has. You want to try the blades? Neutral. Reverse. re-engage. It idles down just fine too. Awesome headlights again. It's missing a little bit. I think the carb might be slightly dirty, but I mean, look, it idles down perfect. So what I'm going to do, I think it just needs some run time, truthfully. So I'm going to let it run for about maybe 15 minutes or so. As you can tell, the blades and everything work. I don't know if the belt's what's making that noise whenever it comes on or whatever, but you can hear there's no like terrible noise coming from the spindles or anything like that. This spindle light right here is new, actually. I also saw that they did a bunch of new parts on the fuel lines, excuse me. I fixed the brakes, fuel lines, and fuel filter and a couple other things. So I'm gonna let it run a little bit. Hopefully it'll smooth out some. If not, it's running smooth after it warms up. That's fine. Seafoam is going to help it. That's good enough for me. I don't need to tear into the carburetor and open up that potential can of worms. Somebody's going to have a good, nice mower with this. The V-twins, I bet, are pretty popular because they're probably like, yeah, more power. I personally like the opposed twins a little bit better. But the V-twins is kind of, well, they don't make opposed twins anymore. So still a nice mower, though, with the push bar on the front. These cool looking headlights in the front. Somebody's gonna see that and be like, oh my gosh, I gotta have it with the headlights. I'm gonna list it for $500. I think it's well worth $500. Everything works on it, drives good. I was gonna list it for $450 or even $400 before I got this fixed. So now that all this is fixed and shifting correctly, put the 2 screws in so the cover's not going anywhere. It's passed my tests, so to speak. And so that's good enough for me. I appreciate y'all watching. Got a lot more Craftsman content coming, as you can tell. A couple more on the trailer. A couple more in the garage that I already fixed that y'all have seen. And we'll catch you on the next video. Also some push mower content. If you like seeing stuff like this, you just like the channel overall, need a little bit of respite from whatever's going on in the world, give me a subscription. Or if you can, if you want to follow me on Instagram and Facebook, see any real-time updates of what I'm doing, I'm there too on at Ellis Mowers 09. Catch you on the next video, and I'll talk to you then. Alright, so I'm going to show you this empty driveway because after I finished filming the video on this V-twin Craftsman, had an inquiry about another riding mower I have for sale, and told him I had this one just finished. It's no longer in the driveway. He ended up buying it. Pretty much lived 3 minutes away from the house, so I delivered it to him. He bought a push mower from me as well, one of them new Walmart customer returns, and so between the two of them, I got $480 cash. So basically $380 for the riding mower, plus on trade, I asked $500 for it. On trade, I got this, which you'll be seeing in a future video. An MTD Yard Machines 12.5/38 is old and is rough, but it's all there. All the tires hold air, leaks a ton of oil out of the dipstick tube. But if you remember, I got the V-twin on a trade for a 16.5 horse 42-inch Craftsman rider. I also got a second mower with that, so it's like a 2-for-1 deal that I did. I sold this one for more than I got the other one. Then I sold the Craftsman for, basically the other Craftsman. I'm probably mixing y'all up. Anyways, I basically have like no money in these things. So minimal parts and minimal stuff gets this running. Maybe a $250 lawnmower. Free money though, basically. I have literally I have nothing in the mower except a 3-minute trip. So this, as long as it's a good one, will be in a future video. But I'll catch you on the next one. I just wanted to conclude the Craftsman video and tell you that basically I sold the thing in 3 hours. So busy time of the year, and I'll catch you on the next video. Hope everybody else doing this stuff is doing well too. See you then.